From MZ Studios in Dallas, Texas, you're listening to the Tennis Revolution podcast.
Man, what a final. What a final. You saw all that, right?
I did. I can't believe Halep won that easily. You were setting me up for that.
So that's exactly. Welcome to the Tennis Revolution podcast. I always forget.
We're excited for so many reasons today.
But you see exactly why planned nonsense. It just falls flat.
Right.
Because, of course, because you hate men's tennis, you're sexist, you didn't watch the men's final.
So I was trying to remember why I can't remember the two previous finals that Djokovic-Federer played at Wimbledon, and then I realized, it's because you work every Sunday for your whole life, so you've never gotten to see the finals without somebody ruining it, which is exactly what happened today. I had it ruined pretty much 5 seconds after it ended when my phone was blowing up, and everybody was, of course, I was at a tennis center, so it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah, that's a bit much to ask for a bunch of tennis players to not talk about the biggest match of the year.
Yeah, and I didn't have 5 free hours after the match to watch it all.
The greatest match in the history of men's tennis, according to the people commentating on that.
You think they're going to say it surpassed Federer Nadal 2008?
No, it was an awful match. It was an
but I'm saying, will they say it does?
Of course they will.
Yeah.
I was waiting for McEnroe to say, so Djokovic defeated Roger Federer.
Right.
To bring him within 2 of Nadal, and now Nadal is stayed 2 behind Roger.
And by the way, it is really cool that they were the first match ever to go 12-12. Which makes me more pissed about 12-12 because I wanted them to play. They could still be playing right now. That's what it should be.
No. So
44-43.
First of all, it's not fitting this went to a 5th set. It's not fitting that this made it to a 12-all tiebreaker. It's not fitting. Shut up, John McEnroe.
Did he say that too?
I don't remember, but I was waiting for it, and I'm sure he said something along those lines.
But I mean, it's better than if it was Pair and, Misha Zverev in round 1 that were the first match ever to go 12-12.
Oh, I see what
Although
you're saying.
Rajiv Ram is going to say he was the first ever to go 12-12 in the men's double, but who cares? In the singles, 12-12, and there may have been a women's match that was 12-12, but the first 5th set to go 12-12,
right?
It's kind of cool that it was the final.
I don't care. First of all, that was not a good match. There was some spectacular points. I mean, it's 2 great players.
Yeah.
I said it. They're great. So you had amazing shots. You had amazing points, amazing games. There was tension and drama.
Right.
I got it. But it was 7-6, and then Djokovic said, you know what? I think that weed I smoked is finally kicking in, and then he just took a set off. And then it wore off. He won the 3rd set, 7-6, and then played better. He played all right in the 4th,
and I'm going to assume 12-12 was 0 breaks.
No.
Oh, really?
I can't remember, but I don't think so. Yeah, because Federer was serving for it at 5-4.
Oh, wow.
Or 6-5 or something. I don't remember. It just happened. I don't know why I don't remember.
That actually makes it 10 times worse for him.
Well, yeah, that too. He had 2 match points.
Oh.
So the first debate on the men's side is, did Roger, who did not face a break point in the first 4 sets, did he serve spectacularly? But you can't answer that because you didn't watch it.
I can say that throughout the tournament, I was not overwhelmed by his serve. I think his average serve speed against Nadal was like 116.
Well, and listen, that's not the only indicator. But did he serve well? He certainly did a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I don't think Djokovic was just. I don't think he was on at all today. In short bursts, he was, but it wasn't a good. I don't think either of them played great.
Well, and I think we have to get out of this thing this mentality of just because a match is close, it's great.
Yes.
Like I watched the Federer Nadal. And I texted a few, and I said, that match was pretty good the last 30 minutes. And they were like, I was on the edge of my seat the whole match. I'm like, for what?
Yeah, exactly.
One of the sets was 6-1. So I didn't even care about that set at all. The first set was 7-6, but it was 12 holds, pretty routine.
Yeah, like no chance to break.
And like you said, it's not because the serves were amazing. It's just because, it was served and the second ball was a put away or something to that effect.
Now, to be fair, again, in spots for shorter bursts of periods of time, there was greatness for sure, but it wasn't this prolonged epic match where it was just a tug of war.
Yeah,
between two titans. It just wasn't. And this is going to go down. No, it's not going to go down in the ages of nothing. It's not. We won't soon forget.
This is the passing of the torch. I'm sure somebody said that too.
No, because
they don't want to give Djokovic any credit ever.
Man, nobody likes him, man.
They probably are saying how great Federer is. In fact, here's what's funny. You say that. So I didn't see the match. I was in the clubhouse of a country club because, that's what I do.
You're big time.
And they were showing the post-match interview, and I watched both interviews, and I literally couldn't tell who won just based on that.
Right.
Because the commentators were talking so much about how amazing both people were. And I kept waiting. I'm like, who won this? I'm like, how could they be like, what an amazing performance by Federer and Djokovic. I'm like, you're ever going to talk about who won? And if Federer had won, it would have been what an amazing performance for Federer. His 21st, they would have been talking about that.
It is sickening.
And we have been saying, I'm not going to credit you totally for this. We've been saying Djokovic. We've been saying Djokovic was going to pass both of them for a while.
Right.
Federer had a chance to make that a lot harder today. And he didn't do it.
Yeah, he's 4 back from Fed and 2 back from Nadal. And guess what's coming up? 2 hard court tournaments in a row.
And the Australian, he's literally unbeatable.
Yeah,
and U.S. Open,
if he's right,
pretty close.
If he's right,
yeah.
If he's all, I don't know what happened. It was almost that second set. He dropped off a cliff like.
He did that a few times this tournament.
Well, like he had some energy issues, not just the moment's too big. I don't think that's it at all. It really did seem physical to me,
which is unusual for him.
Yeah. He had heat related issues early on in his career. I mean, so I don't know.
Well, and even watching him against Bautista and some other rounds, like he lost or against Hercox, he was just like he looked a little bit off at times, but he seems to be always able to turn it on when he needs to.
Yeah. It wasn't a great final. It was good. There was some great parts, but 7-6, 7-6, and 13-12. 3 out of the 5 sets make you think, wow, that was amazing. It was not.
So what in your mind is missing from that match?
There were way too many unforced errors.
Yeah.
And it was.
I would think just the 2 different styles of play usually piques our interest.
Yeah, a little bit. There was a lot of backhand to backhand rallies that style of play didn't matter a lot.
And that can't be good for Federer, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, he was hitting pretty well.
He was hitting his
slicing.
backhand incredible against Nadal.
Yeah. Well, if I had my soundboard hooked up, I would have put the old Dennis Green. They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook. 3 out of the big 3 were in the semis, and 2 out of the big 3 made it to the finals because one of them played the other one, as expected. And Djokovic is inching ever forward to prove that he's good. If they're arguably the greatest ever, as in Federer and Nadal, then you're making my argument that Djokovic is. And that might be, my friend, the saving grace, because everybody hates Novak so much that they're going to say, oh, yeah, that was the weakest era. if he surpasses if he surpasses everybody, all of a sudden they're going to agree with me that it's the weakest era.
Well, and again, we talk about this all the time, but it's never more applicable than right after a slam final because they always involve those 3 guys. But somebody this week, I got in a discussion with them, and he said, why does the weakest era argument only work against Federer and Nadal? Why doesn't it also work against Djokovic? And I said, I didn't have a clear answer at the time, but then when I saw Djokovic...
What do you mean? It does. What do you mean?
Yeah, but not as much, because at least he had to beat Federer and Nadal for all of his slams.
Oh, I see.
Whereas Federer, and the stat I just saw, which I didn't know at the time, you know that Federer had 12 slams when Novak won his first? So he won 12 slams without having to deal with a top Novak, like a slam-winning Novak. And now Novak's had to win 15 more dealing with both those guys.
With Federer at number 1 through 5 in the world.
Yeah, and Nadal the whole time.
Yeah, and Nadal.
So Federer won 12 before Djokovic was even a slam factor, or at least winner. So, I mean, that to me is the biggest. And again, you're going to say, well, he's younger. Of course, that's the case.
Right, but it doesn't matter. I'm not saying it's Federer's fault.
Right.
It's just saying, hey, it was a 2-person race, or 2.5 if you count Andy.
Yeah, and Federer, again, no offense to the people he played, but Federer piled up a ton of titles, Grand Slams, weeks at number 1 against our beloved Andy Roddick, but still, it was against mediocre competition.
How dare you, sir?
In 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, And now you're seeing that now that Federer's got to play Nadal and Djokovic every Grand Slam, it's a little bit tougher to win a slam.
How dare you?
And then the people don't. He's not in his prime. He's
Andrew
in the Wimbledon final.
Stephen Roddick. That's it. I got his actual name, by the way. I don't call him Aloysius anymore. His actual middle name, Andrew Stephen Roddick. I feel creepy knowing his middle name. I don't like the internet at all. But
again, Federer not in his prime. He just lost the Wimbledon final 13-12 to the number 1 player in the world, but he's not in his prime.
And I just would like to remind everyone, Andrew Stephen Roddick, 36. Federer about to turn 38. Just throwing it out there.
That's a horrible stat.
That's the worst thing I've ever heard of.
Because you said Roddick could be top 25.
I said top 20.
A year from now.
I'll go top 25. It's a more round number. I like it, but yes. If he wanted to put the effort in, although his shoulder could be finished. I don't know. I mean, he serves so huge. I mean, so huge.
I will say our one argument that was hurt in the last 2 rounds, semis and finals, was that women's tennis is more interesting than men's because the men's semis and finals were, 5-star, 4-star, and the women's semis and finals were 1.5.
It was a tough tournament for the ladies.
And it's so sad because we could not have had 2 more interesting.
Can we just talk about one gender? We'll get to the women. Can we stay?
But I'm just saying, in terms of the setup going into the 2 finals, I was equally excited about both.
Right.
Serena and Halep and then Djokovic and Federer.
Compare the beginning of the tournament. You thought you would have been, talking about this tournament 2 weeks later. Wow, what a women's tournament.
Right.
Same old men.
Yeah.
Well, same old. I will say, here's the only reason I want Djokovic to win. It's actually different, really.
Yeah.
Because, even though he has, he's just 2 behind Nadal, and, Nadal got almost all of his on clay. He's 2 behind Nadal, and he's creeping up.
But it's different. Like you said, it's changing the discussion.
It seems like, exactly. It's not a 2-person race anymore. He's really kicking in the door.
And I still want 20-20-20. That's my ultimate goal. Because then I want nonstop, arguing from everybody.
I can't wait.
And we're going to say we're arguing between them for 4, 5, and 6, not 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, and I say I want 20-20-20. It's getting to the point where I want 21, 20-20, because I want Djokovic to just have 1 more, just so everybody has to say that Djokovic was the best.
Right. I just want Djokovic to get a haircut. I can't. I got out a Lego person today, and it just looks like somebody stuck hair on top of his head, preformed hair.
Again, I didn't watch the final, but was he?
He had Lego hair.
Unlikable, like always. Because in the semis, he was not likable. And I told it to one of my friends, who's a Djokovic fan. He's like, "What do you mean?" But he's constantly patronizing the crowd. He's complaining to the umpire. He's, just like you said, drifts in and out of effort. He's flailing around constantly, like he's off balance all the time.
He turned pro in 2003. Federer turned pro in 98. But was he unlikable just from his face? Or
just like his mannerisms?
Yeah, I'm trying
actions.
to think.
I think when he plays Federer, he kind of dials in, and he knows he's going to be against the crowd no matter what.
I think that's number one, is there was the 3 people from Serbia. That's it.
I think when he played Bautista, he had higher expectations, and he was still not necessarily the crowd favorite.
That's so pitiful. I feel bad for him, to be honest with you. It's his own fault.
That's what I mean.
He does that heart thing. No. There's no other reason. It's just the heart thing. And maybe his Lego hair, but mainly the heart thing.
And I read an article about that, and I think there's still people that doubt the sincerity. Like, they think he's doing that more as a patronizing the crowd, like, you hate me, so I'm going to do this.
Oh, all right. I like it more now then. Wait a second. I will say one little tidbit that really kind of made me feel a little bit bad for him. So they're interviewing Roger on court after the final. And, you did this, you did that, the tennis, the blah, 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 the crowd loves you, blah, blah, blah.
Can't wait for you to come back next year.
No, I guess I guess it's time to go back to being dad now, right? Okay, we had this moment, my kids are here, I love them, and he almost like welled up a little bit, he kind of, a little bit, so then that's over, and then it's Djokovic's time.
They ask him one question.
No, so he said, my wife and my son or whatever. Now, I guess his son was there, but his daughter was with his wife, or I don't know how many kids he has. But anyway, But he said, I guess it's back to being a father for me too. I was like, come on, dude. Come on, man.
It's so true, though, because
I want to hold him.
When does anyone ever talk about Djokovic's family life? It's nothing. It's like they just talk about his strokes, and that's it.
Yeah, I fit that. That was so sad. He was just reaching out for some love.
It was like they had a list of questions for Federer, and their Djokovic are just like, how do you feel that you won? What are you going to do in the future? And that's
more importantly, he inserted the same question. He inserted an answer also. He's like, look, I'm just like him. I'm just like him. People like me.
And see, he has a funny sense of humor, but he doesn't get enough opportunity to put it out there. And he doesn't do it at all during matches. That's the problem. Like matches, he's got no sense of humor. He's like the win was the end of the world, the French.
Right.
But like in the match against Bautista, at one point they were cheering because he lost a set. And he raises his arms up. But again, that's what everybody does because it's 2 sets to – you know what I mean. They want the match to be longer.
No. They hate him too.
Well, that too. But he's like egging them on like, yeah, keep cheering. Like, great. He's so great. And it's like he's giving an eye roll and sarcastic. But it's like – it's just stupid stuff you can't do.
Now,
and that's if he cares, and he may not.
He may not, and I had never thought about that idea that Hart thing was patronizing to the crowd. And if that's the case, I like it now.
And I don't know about that. But.
Well, listen, and if I like it, it's not because I'm an a-hole. It's because maybe that's his only way to fight back without,
That's what I used to think. I
like it.
But I hear so many stories about how it just burns him up that Nadal and Federer are so much more popular than he is. But it's like, at this point, that's not changing. Even if he wins 24, that's not changing.
Novak, if you're listening, call in.
It'll change when those guys retire. That's the only way it's going to change.
I can help him with his PR. I can do it. I can help him.
Haircut immediately?
Haircut, first of all. Second of all, he needs to come on the podcast. I think that would help tremendously. Because I would literally sit here and ask him, do you hate that everybody hates you? Do you hate that, or do you care? Because that's really the number one thing I want to know. Oh, and how do you feel about playing in the weakest era? Congratulations on all your Grand Slam titles.
Speaking of what I hated the entire second week how they interviewed every top player, I use that term loosely, about how amazing it was to play in this era of tennis in the Big Three.
Yeah.
First of all, they all effing hate it. No, they wish all 3 of them would retire tomorrow.
Right.
They were all like, oh, it's such a blessing that we get to see this greatness up close. Like Dominic Thiem was like, oh man, we're just never going to see this again, and it's so incredible. And Isner was like, oh yeah, I love seeing all these guys. It's all complete lies.
Right.
Like they would rather it be easy and all those guys be gone, and they have a chance to actually win a slam in the next 5 years.
By the way, speaking of people who don't lie, that's not true. I'm sure he does, but in this case, he tweeted out, he's like, Nick Kyrgios says, please, Roger Federer, win, please. He was begging Roger Federer to win. He's not a fan of Novak.
I like him a lot more than I like a lot of other players on tour because at least he's got something,
Yeah, but all of that, none of that's real either. It's all just a cry for help.
I know. He's an attention seeker more than a tennis player, probably.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, he said it. He doesn't like tennis, so that's fine. But hey, guess what? If you can't, get him out of there based on guys beating them, then we're stuck with them. So that's their fault.
Well, and since we're on the men's segment, and I know we got in this last week, but how depressing was this tournament for the future of tennis? Not the current, but for the future. I mean, everybody young player lost to an inferior opponent. Not just lost, they lost to an inferior opponent. Right,
and I think we talked a little bit about that.
We had a couple hopes left when we did our last show, but going into Monday, we had Query and Sangren. Those aren't young guns, but
no.
We had.
And by the way, I don't know how much money I owe you. I can't gamble on tennis, but what are you going to do? An American made it. I don't know if we.
They did.
Did we? Were we here for that? Did we talk about that?
Yeah, because you predicted one, and we actually had two going into Monday.
They were playing each other, so automatically.
Right. We knew we'd have one in the quarters at least.
We just didn't know which one yet.
Yeah.
And luckily it was Query because he had a real shot against – oh, no, he did not.
But go back to that round. So the quarters –
I've heard of them.
Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic all played. The first set of every match, they were all 4-5, 4-all, 5-all, 6-all. One of them – well, Djokovic lost first set, I believe.
No,
Federer lost first set.
But he was playing the fourth best player, Corey.
But they all were blowouts the next sets.
Yeah,
and that just shows you what you talked about. It's not a skill level issue.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Right. So and that's why when people lose their minds on Twitter when I say weakest error, any of these guys could beat any, buddy back in whatever. Right. No, they couldn't.
Right.
Not in a staring contest, they couldn't. And I don't actually mean a staring contest, but I mean who's going to blink first because they're all chumps. They're chumps.
Well, Goffin was, I believe, 4-3 serving.
Dude.
And lost 9 games in a row.
How dumb do I feel? Because what did I say after Verdasco?
Yeah.
But actually, I think it might have been even the round before that. And I was like, I got to admit it, I love Goffin.
Oh, he looked great the first 8 games. It was like, wow. I think he was up a break even in that first set. And then it was like, okay.
It was the third round against Medvedev.
Yeah, it was kind of like you said about Djokovic in the final. It was like, okay, Djokovic decided to actually play this set. And then.
Oh, man.
But it doesn't make sense on grass to be able to do that. Query and Nadal, I can understand that Query fading away after a set, but still.
Yeah, I mean, that deep in a tournament, he's so big.
Yeah. I'm less disappointed in that.
I don't know how anybody – I mean, this is maybe why people are so fanatic about the big three because that's all they have to hang their hat on because nobody is worth watching.
Right.
Unless they're playing each other.
Well, how can you build a fan base around any other player when they're not in the tournament in the second week half the time?
You have to ban the big three. That's it. It's shut them down. It's over.
I love Tsitsipas, but it's hard to love someone who you don't see after the first 5 days of a tournament.
I can't not think of him as Sissy Pants. Like I said, my daughter turned and thought, are they saying Sissy Pants? No, they're not.
Well, maybe until he wins, that's his name.
I think so. But apparently his Insta game is on point, and I just don't care.
Well, I think he's spending too much time on his Insta game.
Listen, I don't know what he's doing, but he ain't beating nobody. The next big hope. I'm going to have to be honest with you. The next time somebody talks about this next player, I'm immediately going to go out and bet against that player with every penny I have. If I could gamble, but I don't because I don't.
We had Felix this tournament that was getting a lot of press. We had obviously Tsitsipas, Coco in the women's, but it all fell in like a 36-hour span.
Yeah, but women I'm okay with. I'll look at the next up and coming women and be like, wait a second, maybe I will invest in them.
Well, we don't have problems with people collapsing at 16, 17. Like when you're 22, 23, you've been out there a while, like you've been the next big thing for a couple of years, you got to do something. And even it's not even just the Americans; it's the European players that are the hyped, and they also are doing the same thing.
Yeah,
you cannot tell me that Djokovic, Federer, and Nadal are in that much better shape than those other guys. And we know the tennis isn't that much better because, like I said, they were all at 5-all, 4-all, 4-6,
or win sets, or have beat them from time to time in some random tournament.
You're telling me that Bautista beats Djokovic twice. You're telling me that Federer is in better shape in a third set than any 25 and under opponent he plays? That doesn't make any sense. And they've got the teams around them and the high level coaching and the.
Listen, no, they don't. That doesn't matter. I can't think of any other way to present the idea that it's the weakest error. Because it's so
obvious at this point.
Well, you can use the exact same evidence, and people do. Well, how can it be the weakest error when we have the big three? No. You're missing the point.
When you're talking about the overall landscape of the tour,
it's not good, man.
Like hundreds of players,
it's not good. I mean, who gives you that feeling like we had watching Coco golf over the first week?
Right.
Now, again, is there a danger of getting too hyped up about her? Of course there is, because she's 15.
Yeah.
But anybody that's 17 or 20, you can get a little bit. There's a chance you could get overhyped and be wrong. But at this point, on the men's side, if you're getting hyped up about anybody young, you're a sucker.
Well, I was going to say, when is the last time a 21 or under man made a compelling run in a slam? Kyrgios when he beat Nadal at Wimbledon, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, but I also think it's also more than just that. I also think it's a run backed up by multiple, weeks after.
But I mean, like Felix, he's made the finals of a 250 or finals of 500, but that you have to do it in the slam.
Nobody's there.
You have to do it in the slam to mean something, and then do it more than that 1-2 week period. Like Tsitsipas made, was it the quarters or the semis? The Australian
quarters.
Either way
is good.
What has he done? What has he done since?
Right, a lot of Instagram. So who was the first? Who was the first play? Was it Dimitrov? Was he the first? Because he was baby fed.
He got a lot of attention. I don't know if he was the first, but
I'm trying to
feel
think.
like he and Team were about the same time.
He's older, but I'm trying to think of who ascended the hype mountain and then fell the
was it Raonic was in there too?
Yeah. Although I don't know if they fell because they really never got there. You know what I mean? It was kind of.
But Dimitrov has fallen.
Yes,
time.
For sure.
Raonic hasn't really fallen; he's just been injured. So he's fallen, but not, necessarily because of anything he's done wrong.
Yeah, and I think that's the case with Delpo, who's won one. But I think we look at it, and again, there's some evidence right there of why maybe this is the weakest era. Maybe it wouldn't be as weak if he was 100% all the time. If he was competing in every tournament along with the big three, maybe none of them would be above 20.
And even Raonic, if he was all in, he's beaten Federer at Wimbledon. So it's
team turned pro in 2011, Dimitrov in 2008. So he had a good 3 years on him for that overhype. So I seem to think that, just remember back.
Just the fact that he's baby fed, that was supposed to be.
And that was right out of the gate.
Right. Well, and keep in mind, in 2008, so that means Federer is 29,
40.
28, which is supposed to be when you're fading in tennis, in theory. Well,
by the way, people have been using, I've heard the Tom Brady argument. He's not getting better. Just because they're still winning doesn't mean he's getting better.
Right.
First of all, Bill Belichick is a witch, all right? Somebody needs to tie a bag of concrete to his feet and see if he floats, because he's a witch. There's a Salem witch trial reference, by the way.
And that's such a subjective topic with football players, because it's 53 players.
And it's the ultimate team game.
Right. I mean, you could look at completion percentage or velocity or something, I'm sure. But even that doesn't mean anything necessarily.
And he's never had a strong arm. But the bottom line is he's not getting physically better. Yeah. And although he only stretches, he doesn't lift weights, and he eats, basically spinach stems, and that's it.
Crazy.
But yeah, so there's nothing else I can say on it, which probably will make a lot of people out there happy. But there is certainly a chance, but just pure physical ability and their mental capacity, because even when they play each other, for the most part, it's pretty high level. They certainly could be the greatest three ever, or three of the greatest 10 ever, or 5 ever.
I think,
but they're doing it in a weak era.
Based on this, is the first time I can say this without not counting in injury. This is the first time after watching Nadal and Fed that I actually saw signs of decline.
Yes.
Like, I watched that and I'm like,
yes.
Man, I think he would have gotten to that ball last year or 2 years ago.
Or maybe they sat in the locker room and said, listen, you hate Djokovic as much as I do.
Let's conserve.
One of us has to win. One of us has. Well, that's fine. But I want either one of us to beat.
That was the worst case scenario for them, to play each other and then the winner plays Djokovic.
Yes, and lose.
Right. I mean, that's because it really is them versus him at this point.
Yeah, kind of.
But then once, he passes Nadal, then it's Federer versus him. But Federer hasn't beaten him in forever.
By the way, there's just no chance that if there was no wind at the French Open, there's no doubt in my mind Djokovic would have won that thing. Golly! I almost called it.
I still think there's no chance he doesn't catch him.
And I hope you're right. I hope it's 21, 20, and 20.
I mean, this has to be Federer's last chance to win a slam.
And I hope that 2 of those for Djokovic come against Nadal on clay at the French, obviously.
Well, if that happens, then Nadal ain't getting to 20 because that's his only place to get 2 more.
That's a fair point. How dare you?
Although Nadal could play the French till he's 40 and be in the top 8 easily.
So there is nothing to be gained from this. Once again,
just
from this men's draw.
Just another chapter in the legacy of the big 3.
I mean, there is nothing to be gained from this men's draw at all. I mean, tennis Sangren,
did you
the American Hope?
No.
I'm kidding.
Well, because it actually happened in the final, did you have any feelings about the 12-12? Should they have quit at 6-6?
Oh, 12-12 stupid.
Yeah.
I just wanted it. Once it got past 6, I was like, just hurry up and get to 12 so we can play a tie break.
Well, and it was like 12-12, and then I saw 7-3. I'm like, wow, so you played 24 games, and then it was that, anticlimactic to go to 7-3. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't like it one bit.
Well, and it didn't prove to benefit anyone during the course of the tournament. Well, number one, that was the only time it happened, and number 2, it's just.
Raheem Ram would have a little something to say about that. Sorry, thanks, Andy Murray.
I know we never talked about doubles, but that doubles final was amazing, I have to say. It was awesome.
Yes. Now, to be fair, that's all you had,
right,
on the men's side. Okay.
Well, no, but I'm not saying it's
all of a sudden
better than the singles.
You're the biggest doubles fan ever. All of a sudden, because you're a loser and can't get to the singles.
Well, and also took up 85% of the women's final broadcast.
That's not nice. Oh, you mean it had to?
Right.
So you're right. Well, first of all, you take somebody like Mahou, who has at least shown himself to be a quality singles player at times, right? For a certain period of time, and now he's carrying that onto the doubles court, where he also displays separate, skills for doubles, but at a high level as well, and certainly a higher level potentially. But yeah, it was real doubles. It was really
and everybody rushing the net, which was cool to see.
It was good doubles. Guys were trying to hit the ball low as opposed to hard. They were trying,
and what I actually thought, we rarely say this, but the commentators did a cool job a couple times of mentioning why Mahou wasn't playing with Herbert, because I wondered that throughout the tournament. Did you hear that backstory?
Because he has a dumb last name.
So Mahou calls him and says, hey, you want to play doubles? Like we always do. We won 4 Grand Slams together. And Herbert says, no, I'm going to focus on singles, so I can lose in the second round instead of the first round. So they didn't play together. Well, then 2 days before the tournament, Herbert signs up with Murray. And so Mahou's pissed. And then what happens? Mahou makes the final with a 40-year-old, however old that guy is. So I just thought hearing that kind of backstage information was kind of interesting.
That's fun. I like it.
Yeah. Of course, it would have been more interesting if they played each other, but...
Well, it would have been more interesting. I mean, they lost, obviously, but it would be more interesting if real players played in doubles.
Right.
I mean...
Well, and some of them did. They just didn't do that well.
Yeah. Right. And Murray, I don't count, still, because who knows where he's at with his bionic hip. Again, doubles is dramatically more popular in terms of playing. Right. People that watch tennis play doubles dramatically more than singles. And I wonder if Federer was in a, I don't know, maybe the Olympics is the only place to find this. And I don't know if the numbers work out or whatever, I don't care. But if he was in the finals against, I don't know, some, the second or third best player from Spain or something, whoever that is.
Verdasco or
whatever, in singles.
Lopez.
Or was in the finals of doubles with Wawrinka for Switzerland against maybe the Bryan brothers.
Right.
And that's a little unfair because the Bryan brothers are a way bigger draw than Feliciano Lopez for Pete's sake.
Yeah.
But whatever. Whoever like Shapovalov for Canada. Yeah. Canada's number 2 or wherever he's probably number 10 now. But whatever. It seems to me that all things being equal, if you have the star player in an event, that means equally as much. Because I think Federer... I don't know. I mean, I guess he's won gold before in doubles, and he didn't in singles. Has he ever won gold in singles?
Federer, no.
Yeah, I didn't think so. He lost to Murray at Wimbledon in the Olympics one year. So anyway, maybe that would change it. But let's say he'd never won doubles either.
Yeah.
I'm trying to simulate how much it would mean. Because certainly, even if he was in the Wimbledon doubles final, he would not care.
Right.
I mean, he would care in as much as he does as a human, but it certainly has nothing to the degree on singles. But anyway.
Well, what I thought was funny too is they didn't show a minute of doubles the entire tournament, and then you expect us to watch 5 hours of the final. Like, we didn't see any of the path of how they got there,
right.
And then you got 5 hours on ESPN of doubles, which was just kind of interesting. I mean,
yeah.
And again, I did watch it, but I would have also watched it through the tournament some if
right.
it was available.
Well, and again, I mean, doubles is in a no-win situation. It really is. With no players playing it, it just doesn't matter. And nobody cares. And then you get, every now and again, you get a knockdown, drag-out match like that final.
Right.
And it was fun. It was great.
But you're totally right. Even the stands were emptying as that match went on, and I was on the edge of my seat, but just it was funny that even you could tell the fans were there, were into it, but it was like, let's go to dinner, So without the name recognition, you're never going to get that much interest.
Name recognition, and if they care about it is
something,
right?
Yeah.
Which
Well, and then they showed the prize money, and it was like
$42,
I think $300,000. I think each winner got $300,000.
Wow.
Each player, not team.
Wow, that's pretty high. I would think it'd be $300 for the winners, and they split it.
I think that's what it was. I think it was like $600 total.
Yeah, I believe you.
But again, that's 20% of the singles final.
Yeah. All right. If there's anything I hate in this world, it's men's tennis. So let's forget about that and talk about women's when we come back.
It's time to join the revolution. Go to our website, tennisrevolutionpodcast.com, to get the latest episodes, email us your questions and comments, or give us show ideas.
Now let's talk about some real, live, actual tennis. Ladies doubles.
Shea Su Wei.
Yes. And Strikova.
Yes. You want to give me the X's and O's of how they won it?
Well, yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. Shui. Husei?
First name Feng.
It's not. It's just not. Her and Barbara. I mean, Shui can ball, man. She's just got...
Oh, I loved watching her singles match.
What a great doubles. I mean, but just double skills. I mean, she's got so much skill with the racket, and she can play all court.
Is she the closest player on tour to Fabrice Santoro?
Oh, nice. No.
Is there anybody close to him?
No.
See, he was my favorite.
Mansour Brahmi. He's not.
Who I wanted to see, by the way. I would have loved to watch that, too. I was Googling clips last night and couldn't find any. They say that his stadium is packed every time, no matter what.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, he was in the stadium for Mahou, and he was fired up.
I saw that.
He was getting after it because he's Iranian, but he's lived in France for a long time.
By the way, who was the cowboy that was in like the stands for every match, in the players' box for every match?
I didn't see him.
He had a cowboy hat. He was in Serena's box. He was in like Nadal's box.
Tony Romo?
He was in. It was like an older cowboy.
Dallas Cowboy joke, by the way.
It was so weird. I just couldn't figure out who he was.
I didn't see at all.
Somebody call in.
That thing right there you have, it's a phone, and it's got this thing called Google.
I thought you're supposed to be my source of information.
No, I'm your source, all right. All right, women. I'm kidding about the doubles because for the same reason we don't care about men's doubles, we certainly don't care that much about women's doubles. Although...
I was going to say more of the stars play.
I was going to say, or not really. It's just more of those people that are in that draw also can do well in singles because whatever.
Well, yeah, because Streetsova was in the semis of singles and won the doubles.
Isn't that exciting? I mean, that's yes. The answer is yes. It is exciting.
I'm going to start this segment, but how bad does this make me sound? So I had the women's final ruined for me, as usual.
Yep. You mean by watching it?
But it was the first time I've ever been excited to watch it anyway, even though I knew the outcome. I was like, I've got to see this. I wanted to see her get smoked so
You're
bad.
The most un-American, racist, sexist,
I just couldn't wait to watch it.
So, first of all, good gracious, Simona Halep played some tennis. I mean, she just played out of her mind.
She's the fewest unforced errors in a Grand Slam final ever.
And she said that, yes, that was the best she's ever played in her life.
And she said that earlier in the tournament, too. So against Azarenka, so she kind of
broke her own record. Yeah. Congratulations.
But was it that, or was it? I mean, it was that for sure. But was it also Serena being off?
Yeah, for sure.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. But that her playing her best match was irrelevant in regards to her being able to do what she did. I mean, now if Serena's 100% physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever, does it look like that? I don't know. But, man, she was changing directions from so far behind the baseline.
I saw her do that throughout the tournament.
Yeah.
But someone said, if Halep plays like that, I don't think Serena can beat her. And I'm like, if Serena's serve is on...
I agree with you. I beg to differ.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Of course, Serena is the greatest of all time for a reason.
Yeah. So it did... Yes, she played amazing, but there were definitely some moments where I thought, oh, Serena would have normally gotten that, or she should have made that shot.
She wasn't moving at all. It wasn't good. Now,
it does take two to make your best performance ever.
I will say this, even if Serena played well, if Halep played like that, it could have looked very similar.
It would have been a tough match.
But at the same time, even if she was going to try to get out of and could have gotten to playing well, Halep didn't let her.
Right.
So,
her only chance with Halep playing like that is to serve bombs, which she really couldn't do throughout the tournament consistently.
Yeah, right. First strike tennis, as they call it. Serve +1, if you will. And she just couldn't.
And Halep just didn't ever look like she was nervous, which is so much
different.
Yeah.
Although, maybe it's what she's been building towards as she's been, kind of steadily climbing. And Darren Cahill was there watching, and she had some things to say nicely about him and all that. And, I'm sure her coach was like, why is your ex-boyfriend texting you? Like what are you doing?
That was a bad, I can't say bad. I mean, she lost in the finals, but Muratoglu had Tsitsipas and Serena go out badly. But, 3 Grand Slam final losses in a row, it's going to be hard for Serena not to think about that in the next Grand Slam final, wouldn't you think?
Although it depends on where, because she's not letting anything slip out of her camp. She's hurt or she's not, whatever. So,
but she would, because that's Serena.
You think so? You're the worst.
If she was hurt, she would let people know.
Maybe
they did ask her if she was going to play in San Jose, which I didn't even know there was a tournament in San Jose. She's like, no, I don't think I'm signing up for that one.
Yeah,
I don't know if that was a San Jose reporter or what.
So, I mean, if she knows she's 100%, and it's a 1-week tournament, so some of these U.S. Open Series tournaments, and she can kind of, I don't think she'll be thinking about it. And then if she can play her way into form and be feeling good going into the U.S. Open, why not?
Well, do you think it hurt her how easy her matches were leading up to the final?
Yeah.
And I say easy in terms of the caliber of her opponent.
Right. Yeah, that can certainly always hurt because you're not battle tested. I mean, Risk was her toughest match.
And that was a great match.
That was a good match. And
that was probably when the draw started to go downhill.
And by the way, apparently it's not win 1 Grand Slam and disappear. Now it's win 2 and disappear. I'm just kidding. I don't know if Ash Barty's disappearing or not.
Yeah, that was, it's like the only grass court specialist there is in the women's tour.
And it's her favorite surface.
So you can't, I don't know that I can blame her for losing, especially when she took a set off Serena, too. It's like she obviously...
Right, it's not a fluke.
Right.
Yeah.
She obviously is good.
Yeah, she beat Bencic. Every match she played is 3. If she would have played just one straight set match.
I wasn't too happy how Barty played in that match. I thought, she definitely didn't look like she was herself.
Yeah, which, again, that could have been added pressure in the fact that she won on her least favorite surface, and now she's going to her favorite surface. What are we supposed to do here? And that just could have been pressure.
And we said going into the round of 16, that really Halep and Serena were the 2 players left that would make the most interesting final. Little did we know. But, going into those 2 finals, I was probably equally excited or maybe even more excited about the women's.
Dude, every match Risk played was 3 sets. That poor thing.
And multiple of them she lost first set.
Good for her. Is she the future of American tennis? I don't think so.
On grass. She'll be the one in the Hall of Fame championships in a couple weeks that stays on grass, and everybody else has gone to hard court.
The Indian Wells of grass court tournaments. Just let it go. Let it go. By the way, once again, another player that you're thinking, okay, he's a Hall of Famer. Who will be at his level in 15 years? Evgeny Kafelnikov is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
So 15 years from now, which,
right.
team?
Does he have, and he has 0 slams, right?
Goffin?
He might have a slam final. He might have even got to number 1 in the world, actually.
He was, definitely.
So that's something.
That's something.
It's funny you say that, though, because I was thinking about that again the other day, and there was an interesting name I came up with. Now I got to remember who it was for potential Hall of Fame.
He won the 1999 Australian Open.
Oh, okay.
And he won the 1996 French Open.
Oh, so 2-time slam. You're definitely getting in there.
So 99 and 96. And he was a finalist in the Tour Finals in 97. And he won gold in 2000.
Okay. Was he ever number 1? Does it say that?
Highest ranking, I'm sure he was. Career titles, 26.
That's a lot, too.
May 3rd, 1999, highest ranking, number 1.
No, the name I was thinking about was Cilic. Because he's won a slam. He's made 2 finals.
Yeah.
He pretty much has to be in the Hall of Fame
Delpo,
in this era.
Delpo and him, I mean...
And Wawrinka.
How can they not be? Because they're the only options we have.
Well, unless they just keep picking guys from the 90s because they're better. You could put, Rafter may already be in there, but
Roddick has 1 Grand Slam title. And again, hopefully they do a better job.
Roddick's in for sure.
He's already in.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's what I mean. He should be in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So hopefully they're looking at a more comprehensive picture than most fans do, which is just major wins.
Well, yeah, because Cilic won Davis Cup.
Right.
He's been in several Grand Slam finals.
But also all the other, titles.
Right now you got Team, like you said, he's got 2 Grand Slam finals. Is that, that's not worthy in itself.
1 because of 40-mile-an-hour winds. I don't even want to hear about it. They better put an asterisk next to his name.
He's never been in the top 3. So that's something against him, obviously. No, if you go from 90 or 2005 to 2020, in 6 months, you're going to have a hard time finding
legit Hall of
5
Famers.
People from that era.
It's gonna not the big 3. You mean, yeah,
right? It's gonna be Ferrer. I'm telling you,
it's got to be.
It's gonna be Ferrer and Berdych
because he's beloved.
Tsonga's gonna get in there.
Oh my God! Are you telling? Now I don't know if you're joking or if you really think that's what's going to happen. And if that's what happens, then there you go. I hope we're not doing this podcast.
They're going to put Federer's coach, Federer's trainer. Like every year, it's going to be this guy was
writer who covered Federer.
He met Federer in the subway one year. He trained with him at Central Park for the 2006 US Open.
All just so they could skip over Djokovic. won't
Yeah, anybody but Djokovic.
They're gonna be having reporters try to dig up stuff on him that he was doping or that he murdered some children or something. Oh, why do they hate you, Novak? I don't hate you. I hate your hair and I hate your heart thing unless it's ironic, and then I like it. Other than that, you're the best ever out of these 3. You notice I said best ever out of these 3.
So what conversation are we having right now if Federer wins that? Oh, no, we're on the women's. Never mind.
God, you're the worst.
I am.
Not a lot different. It's worse because at least, like you said, Djokovic spices up the argument a bit.
Then it delays the argument for another year.
Right.
Djokovic got to catch up.
And and also he's getting them now before they're they're not going to retire at the end of this year. They're not going to retire at the end of next year.
But you wait, like I said, when they retire and he piles up 5 or 6, somebody's going to come out with, well, he won 5 or 6 because he didn't have to play $1 Federer. Even though Federer won 12 without having to play him.
Which also tells you exactly what I've been saying. Well, just because they weren't there, so what? This is such
all the other great players are there.
It's such a strong era, the strongest ever.
Golden age of tennis.
Dum-dums.
That was my favorite catchphrase. Golden age of tennis. 3 players make a golden age.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, Serena, I guess
all right,
they include.
Sexist. Let's get to the women.
Well, we never talk about will Serena get 24.
Dude.
I don't think she will.
Man. I'm worried that she
US
won't.
Open, she goes crazy.
Stop it.
I'm being serious. That's legitimate.
Hey, listen, that's a very stressful city. It's a lot of stuff going on.
I mean, is Carlos Ramos there this year? If so, she's not getting it.
I will shove this ball down your...
What if they announced at the start of the tournament that Carlos Ramos is doing the final?
She won't have to worry about that.
But Australian, she comes in out of shape every year. The French is not her surface. And, I mean, Wimbledon, that's a whole year away. I'm not seeing it.
Man.
And I'm not trying to be like this Serena doubter, she's not as good as everybody says she was. Or
she is the greatest ever.
I'm just saying, I don't see...
one baby in, and she's however old she is, and she's still making it to finals, though. It's like...
And one of the commentators, or one of the guys in the press conference, journalists, said something like, do you think if you were in a little better shape, you would have won this tournament? And I, by the way, I hate those press conferences. If I was a player, I would loathe them.
I hate all of it.
But I love watching them.
Just for the cringe factor.
They can't ask a question like nicely. They'll ask like, why did you miss 25 backhands? Like, in other words, why did you suck? And then the next question is, why did you suck in the first set? And then why did you suck this bad?
Right.
Well, you've beaten her 9 out of 10 times. Why did you lose this time? Like, they're so stupid.
But on the other side of that, who was it? Well, Kyrgios, because he's an idiot. You know, or no, you know what? Joe Conta, perfect example. I
didn't see hers.
She was asked about a question. She was asked about something tennis related, and she responded with something along the lines of that was condescending or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think so. And then people were talking about how it was sexist. I'm like, I think a woman could have asked the exact same question, and you know, I don't know. The bottom line is this: those press conferences are no win.
Right.
For anyone.
Right. Well, because, I mean, think about any other occupation and having to answer questions. Like, you just got fired from your job and you got to go in and give an interview before you leave.
So do you think being late every single day to work had any impact on your firing?
Why did your sales numbers go down for the last 6 months straight? You know, it's like, it's just, there's no way to answer that.
Yeah, we're in the weakest era of sales, and these big three are just selling paper like nobody's business.
But I just don't know. There's no answers you can give. Serena actually did a pretty good job. I was impressed with her press conference.
Federer basically does it for them.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, Federer, how you doing today? Well, yeah, on my backhand, you know, he takes care of it.
Yeah.
Win or lose, because he doesn't care.
Whereas Serena tries not to answer, and then the problem is she just gets asked the same question again and again.
Right.
It's like, why did I lose? Well, you know, Hallett played an amazing match. Oh, what about her game was so amazing? Well, you know, she really did a good job moving me around. You know, well, how did she do that? It's like she makes them re-ask over and over.
Yeah, yeah, it's not good, and quite frankly, not informative.
No,
at all. And furthermore, it shouldn't be if this is an ongoing career these people have to play and. Hey, I've been really working on my routine. You know, it's like, what are they going to say? Right. They're going to give away all the secrets they've been working on in practice or what they're trying to do against this player.
Oh, the pre-match is the worst.
Oh, that's dumb.
They don't do that at Wimbledon, luckily, but they do it at the U.S. and it's the worst.
Yeah, they just give them flowers.
You know, you've beaten her the last 3 times. What is the key to your win tonight? With her standing right behind you. You know, I'm going to try to go deep to her backhand and come to the net. You know, and it's like she's standing right there, and then the next she comes up. All right, well, she's planning to go deep to your backhand. How are you going to stop that? It's so stupid.
I'm going to listen to the press conference and do exactly the opposite. Thank you.
There's so many things they could do better there. I mean, just ask a stupid. I mean, I'd rather them ask a stupid question. You know, what music do you listen to before you go on the court? Or like they told Halep, what are you going to do with your Wimbledon membership now that you get free access to the restaurant? And she was like, really? I do. I had no idea. And she was laughing about it.
Yeah, at least that brought something to the table.
Right.
Well, they do that in football too, though.
Oh, I know.
Talking to the coach on the way out to the locker room.
You get one question, and it's, you know, why are you down 35-3?
At the half, yeah.
Well, they've started NBA too. But who?
Nobody.
Is there a clamoring for that?
No.
That I don't know about?
Not one bit. Not one bit.
That's what I keep telling myself during this tennis coverage. I'm like, is there somebody that wants to see this that I'm just the odd man out, that I don't want to see Federer 6'2", 6'2", 5'1"?
Well, first of all, in America, I'm dumbfounded that we have tennis journalists, first of all. I'm surprised
we just have one with Ben.
I'm surprised we even have tennis podcasts in America, to be honest with you.
Tennis, period.
Yeah, that too. But I'm dumbfounded anybody pays anybody to write about tennis when no one cares about tennis.
Right.
That's what I don't understand.
Well, and the thing is,
I'm glad.
But I actually know a friend who used to do that for a living, but it was like an 8-week job. You would do it for 2 weeks during every slam, and then the rest of the time you're covering powerlifting or boxing or whatever.
Well, listen, you can't get odds at some of the sports books in Vegas.
No, you can't.
Except on the Grand Slam tournament.
Yeah, you can't go in and bet on the Atlanta Open.
Not that I would.
Right.
Sir. Yeah. So, all right. So what have we garnered from the women's draw? Because we said the women were two tournaments ago. So after the Australian or into the clay court season, we said, hey, it's getting a little bit wobbly here. Women's tennis is starting to go off the rails just a little. How far can it go off the rails before it's a problem?
Well, and
are we there? Except we finally just right coming in the train station, the finals pulled us back in.
Well, and not to beat a dead horse, but this was another press conference question. They said, do you think winning the 2018 French Open really helped you win this? That was 13 months ago. Obviously, it didn't help her because she lost the next 4 slams after that and then won one. That was not related.
Right.
They were. But I mean, what they meant to say was, did the pressure affect you less this time because you won a slam previously?
Are you figuring out not how to freak out?
Right. And they're trying to say that in a nice way.
Now that Cahill's gone, have you found after he left you and you wept for a week straight?
Right.
Do you have it together now? Because 18 months ago at the French Open, y'all won. Yeah, that's exactly what they want to say.
But I think that we got to fix this ranking system. How can Halep win Wimbledon and she's 4th?
I don't know.
I just don't get that.
I don't know.
Now, we do have Osaka, who's won 2 of the last 5. That means something.
And Barty
2 of the last 5. I mean, that's got to be some continuity for the women's going forward.
Well, the problem is we've seen such a precipitous drop with Osaka.
Right.
Now, hopefully, Barty will not drop. I mean, she dropped.
Well, and
Wimbledon wasn't, she lost. No, she is the 1 seed and lost in the 4th round.
Right.
To an unseeded American.
On Mediocre Monday.
And no, it's not the court. It's not the court. Number 1 players in the women's game have been losing for years.
By the way, I looked up the last 3 years of that Monday at Wimbledon, and it's been awful 3 years in a row. Federer, Djokovic, and Nadal have won easily all 3 years. Serena's won easily all 3 years, and that's all they show the whole day.
Right.
So it's been terrible tennis, and they hype
there
it
you
up.
go.
I'm not getting excited about next year. Don't let me get excited.
That's why we need to get rid of Middle Sunday. Just play.
Right.
Let it go. Just play. So, one featured match.
My only hope for Osaka, except the featured match would be Federer versus Basilashvili, and it would be 90 minutes.
It needs to be something.
But my only hope for Osaka is that her 2 collapses were not on hard court, and her 2 wins were on hard court. So maybe the fact that we're going back to hard court, she will prove that it's been the surface that's her best, and she can bring it back.
Maybe.
If she loses early in the couple pre-tournaments, that's going to be really more depressing.
No, that'll be great. She'll be more. I'm serious. No. I think she'll be more rested. But so that's, I guess, really, is Halep winning now say anything about her that Osaka winning 2 in a row and then Barty winning 1? Is there a difference between Halep? Because Halep only has 2.
Right.
So does Osaka.
But in the last 6, we've got 3 2-time winners. So that's got to be a positive.
So what you're saying is that Osaka, Barty, and Halep are equivalent to each other.
Wait, who won the Australian? Osaka.
That's dicey.
So Barty's only won 1.
That's dicey because Osaka has fallen off a cliff.
But I mean, at least if you think of it in that, there was a time when at one point there was 10 different slam winners, 10 in a row.
Yeah.
So that at least that we have, I feel like if you ignore the rankings, which women's tennis probably should anyway, going to the Open, we've probably got 5 contenders, and it would be a pretty big surprise if it was outside those 5.
Would it though? I know what you're saying.
I'm hoping.
On paper, I know what you're saying, but would it though?
But I'm saying that I think that what the people get fooled by is the ranking.
Yeah.
Like Svitolina being 6. Who cares? Like that was her first Grand Slam semi.
That was the 2 longest games ever.
It was.
And then the rest of it took less than those 2 games.
Because she lost those 2 games.
Right.
But like Svitolina Bertens, like I'm sorry, she's not a factor in a slam yet.
So Serena, you're counting her.
Yep.
Osaka.
Yep.
Barty.
Yep.
By the way, that's the only accent that I can do that sounds pretty decent. I think it does. So Barty, who did I say?
Serena, Osaka, Barty.
Halep. And who's your 5th?
I would put Sloane Stephens.
Oh,
because she's won
fancy.
And she's
in the mix.
She's not flaming out early in slams anymore.
Well,
like early meaning like first round.
What about Konta?
I think this is a little fluky summer for her. I don't see that continuing.
She's saucy, man. She gets in those press conferences and causes trouble. I like it. Still not sexism, but good for her. I'd put Konta in there because at least she hadn't won anything, but it's sustained success.
Yeah, sustained
success, and I think that's the difference.
Well, and she is on the rise. What I try not to do this time of year, that happens every year, is we get overhyped about the Americans, and it's for one reason.
Because they're tall.
Well, every tournament is mostly American.
Speaking
because
of tall,
they're all here.
Konta is 5'11". Man.
Oh, wow. But every tournament is in America, so half the field is American. So, yeah, we're going to have
all these chump tournaments.
Finalists and winners. Right. So I have to, Fritz has won and made the finals of 2 tournaments this summer. He's really going to be a factor going to the Open. No, he's not.
Yeah, I didn't know they had ATP 150s. Somehow
Challenger Plus tournaments.
Somehow it's a 32 draw with 31 Americans and 1 bye. Americans are killing it.
It's an All-American final again this year.
All-American final in Winnetka, Illinois.
Poor Winnetka, all our listeners.
Well, the only reason I say that is because concurrent to the second week of Wimbledon, Pro Circuit tournament in Winnetka was going on, which I saw on the Tennis Channel.
That's funny.
Well done, Tennis Channel.
Showing us the matches we care about.
Well, hey, showing the matches you can afford to show.
But yeah, I'm still excited going into the Open because I think there's going to be some Americans, and I'm talking about the women's now, obviously. There's going to be some American factors. There's going to be, some continuity, I hope. Continuity.
Nice.
But it's so far away.
First of all, hard courts are my favorite surface. I say incidentally, if you're just listening, I say that every single tournament. It's like, this is my favorite Grand Slam.
Hot American summer, it's the best.
Although I have always said that the U.S. Open is my favorite slam.
Right.
Because it's
American. And hard court is our favorite surface because that's all we play on ever.
And yeah, it's American tennis. But also I think it's that middle of the road surface that takes every other little thing out and sort of evens it out. So if you're a dirt baller and you can run for days, that's okay. Hard courts, people can hit through you a little bit.
Right.
If you're a big server on grass, it's hard to, how else does Sam Querrey make it so deep into the second week?
I was going to say, it's kind of the slam that has the most unpredictability, at least in terms of the men's. Like the French, we know it's Nadal, Thiem, Djokovic, those 3.
Right.
Wimbledon, we know it's Federer, Djokovic, those 2. Australian, it's always Djokovic, probably Federer, Nadal, those 3.
Right.
U.S. Open, though, there's we had the Kevin Anderson, we had the Cilic and Shikori. It seems to be a little bit more unpredictable just because maybe it's faster.
It's a neutral, but it's also a neutral in terms of footing
and the heat plays a factor sometimes. Somebody gets hit by the heat unexpectedly.
And New York is New York, man. It's crazy.
So I think, and again, we talk about unpredictability being a problem in the women's. And men, we're craving unpredictability. Please give us something that we haven't seen. Although, again, did you see $8,000 to $15,000 for Federer or Djokovic? I'm like, why? You've seen it 38 times. Or Federer Nadal.
Nadal.
You've seen it 39 times. I don't get it.
Ticket prices?
Yeah. I'm like, who would pay to do something the 40th time? Now, again, it's not the same people, obviously, but still.
Yeah.
It's like you've seen it 39 times, and you're telling me the 40th time is
that's the magic one. That's the magic one.
I just don't get it.
I don't either. But,
It's the bucket list people, I guess. I think that's who they're getting.
Yeah.
It's like, this is probably our last chance to see them. Let's go.
Except for every other tournament in the next 2 years.
Well, you would think that would be a deterrent. Like, I don't need to go now. I can go, in 3 months at the Open or the Australian.
I think people are starting to fall for the idea that they're getting old and any time now they could retire. But you're exactly right. I think Nadal did look less than himself. So grass court results mean nothing relative to the hard courts, you think? But it's the same 5 that you would pick. If you had to pick the top 5 women to win Wimbledon, and then which ones would – it's the same 5, don't you think?
Probably so, yeah.
So we need Osaka to get her life together.
Definitely.
In New York, the scene of the crime, if you will, of her first Grand Slam.
She needs it for the sake of her ranking, too. I mean, it's going to plummet.
Yes.
If she doesn't do something there.
She can't lose in the second round or first round.
No.
Disaster. I need her to be good. I need her to be good. That sounds really weird. I need her to be good because, like you said, we need 4 or 5 women to step up to add that consistency as when you're 24th, Serena, but at some point very soon you've got to retire.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that 24th is her motivation right now. She says it's not. Come on now. Come on.
I can't imagine that's not. By the way, it's Margaret Court like the 1972 Dolphins. She's popping champagne every slam that Serena loses on top of her swastikas or whatever.
Yes.
But
that was a little strong, but close. But close.
But I don't think Serena, that's got to be her motivation. What else could there be?
She's not saying it, but I can't imagine.
Well, her other motivation is Venus being on the tour still. She can't retire before Venus. That just looks kind of silly, I would think.
Yeah, although I mean,
they got to travel together.
Yeah, but
do everything
mileage
together.
though. I mean, on court time,
right.
She's way past Venus at this point.
Well, yeah, because Venus loses second round.
Well,
no, I know what you meant.
Yeah, so
no, I think that the fact that it's right now a family deal. Venus, Serena, the mom, Travis, other sisters. They've got a whole team. I think when Venus goes, then some of that goes. And then it's like, yeah, this isn't quite as fun as it used to be.
Yeah, I could see that.
But she does have the billionaire who can pretty much, probably do it first class in every possible, way. Well,
she's not going to be – I don't think she's sticking around for Venus, but I think when Venus retires, it might prompt her. Right. So I think maybe the inverse of what you're saying.
Because Venus is going to say, gosh, it's so nice not having to wake up and practice 2 hours a day and, fly in every country in the world and all that.
So you would hedge towards putting your money on Serena not winning a 24th.
I can't see it anytime soon.
Well,
I mean, and I would have to see.
Soon,
well, I know.
I would think if it's not
gotta be
soon.
Well, I don't think she. In other words, I don't think she can get it together by the Open. And then historically, like I said, Australian French are not her best. I'm thinking Wimbledon. I'm thinking Wimbledon 2020 is her best shot.
Man,
left.
Yeah, maybe.
And I think the same for Federer. By the way, his best shot is Wimbledon 2020 if he has another shot at all.
Man, who thought we'd ever get to this point? We're not still though. But the problem is he won't ever beat Djokovic again. But nobody else will beat him.
Well, I remember in 2015 they said Federer's going to play one more year to play 2016 Olympics, and now here he's going to be in 2020 Olympics.
Oof, yeah,
in singles.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah, so tennis.
So let's just save this podcast for next year when Djokovic Federer play in the final. We can just replay it. We don't even need to re-record. We just save that whole segment.
I'll have to change the numbers though. We'll just come in and say, and now Djokovic is 2 ahead of Federer.
That's right.
And 1 ahead of Nadal
after winning the last 6 slams,
including the French.
I still think the French is the one that's screws up Djokovic and Federer.
Wind. It was 40 miles an hour, and he could not handle it. He couldn't handle it physically just because it's 40-mile-an-hour winds, and he certainly it sent him off the rails.
And by the way, it got windy during his Bautista match too.
Yeah, yeah.
And he wasn't playing so great then either. So we found his one weakness is wind.
All right, my friend. Another fortnight in the books, and we've learned nothing.
That's right.
I still have more hope for women's tennis than I do men.
From an American perspective or in general?
Just in general.
Overall.
And from both.
Yeah.
Actually, both. But yeah, from an American perspective, but just generally for sure.
Well, we have some positives on the horizon. And by the way, Coco,
we have
a positive on the horizon.
We have a chance for the women from the American side and we have a chance from the standpoint of there's other quality players that can grab a hold
right
as Serena transitions out of the game. And on the men's side, I'm sick of it. Djokovic is our only hope, and that's not a good. I don't like that hope at all. Sorry, Nick Kyrgios.
Well, I know, and I've turned myself into the bad guy because I have to root for Djokovic now in every tournament. It's like, and everybody's like, I thought you weren't a Djokovic fan. I'm like, I'm not, but I'm so tired of the Federer Nadal.
I'm more of a tennis fan than I am a Djokovic or anybody's non-fan or anybody's fan. And for the good of the game, he's got to take over.
I mean, just think about the Open. How amazing would it be to have a Tsitsipas, I don't want to say team, but I guess I will. Tsitsipas team final.
It would be awful. The only way we get out of this thing alive is if Djokovic overtakes Nadal and Federer, and then right on their heels, there's three guys. And I'm not out of the woods with FAA and Tsitsipas, to be fair, but they're not showing me a lot now. But I'm not done with them. Wait till hard courts. And this next gen and beyond, if they start coming up and they're going to eclipse Nadal and Federer first, and then they'll retire, and then Djokovic will be the lone big three, and they'll be nipping at his heels. They'll take him out a couple of times at the tail end, and then that'll be our connection to reality. And then we say, oh, okay, good. Here's some more guys. But
what we need to see, probably more, you're right, is we need to see a Tsitsipas Djokovic.
From team,
no, it's not going to happen this year, but I mean, how great would it be if it did start happening now?
From, Dimitrov to Dominic Thiem and everything in between.
Right.
It's over. It's a lost generation.
Oh, totally.
It's a lost generation. Tsitsipas, FAA, I don't know who else. Bear.
Yeah, Umber, Air Bear.
Umbop. Remember, Umbop.
Oh, yeah.
What was that group?
Hanson.
Hanson, you do it. Oh, is that
you just made me say it.
That's what that tattoo is. Okay. All right. So I think that's enough.
Yes.
You got anything?
Nope.
All right. Well, Wimbledon's in the books. Looking forward to the 1 week grass court season here in Newport. And then it's on to the U.S. Open Series, baby.
That's right.
The best Grand Slam and the best series. And, so let's get ready for that. All right.
Yeah, I love it. I can't wait.
All right. Until next time, thanks for joining the revolution.
Bye, guys.
Weakest era.